hard to overestimate the achievements of our next guest. He's still only 31, but he's already been in more than that number of movies, and he's already worked with the likes of Woody Allen, Oliver Stone, and Neil Jordan. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Jonathan Rhys Meyers. This glittering world of Hollywood, and then you end up staying at home for 3 years making a TV series in the wet Wicklow Hills.
Yeah, it's been lovely. I mean, by the time I finish the series now, I'll have spent 18 months in Ardmore.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
I'm sure it has.
Nice people.
Do you keep in touch, though, with Irish goings-on? I mean, you have made movies all over the place. I mean, do you keep in touch with the body politic, what Brian Cowan is up to, and all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I do, because I spend a lot of time back here now, and I read the Irish Times, the Irish Independent, so, you know, I know what's going on. But, you know, Brian's the leader. You got to get behind your leader.
That's how you feel? You think he's been given a hard time?
Well, I think he has a hard job. So, you know, anybody who's going to be in politics in the country is going to have a difficult time of it, you know, but, you know, that's politics.
Now,
it's never meant to be easy.
Never meant to be easy, no? If it was easy, sure we'd all be doing it.
Possibly.
You are the king of the big screen and the small screen. This kind of experience, being the theatre, you're not so far a theatrical actor.
I'm not. It's quite extraordinary. It's quite scary, to be honest. You know, but maybe now that we have a huge opera house here, maybe I'll come down and do a show.
But for actors, a lot of them, they do theatre. They're paid buttons to do it, and then they make a movie and make a fortune.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
What is it about the theatre? Do they tell you that makes them want to do it?
I think this, you know, having having a reaction from an audience is quite extraordinary, you know. I think it's the difference between making an album in the studio and then playing live in front of 80,000 people at Slane, you know. You get a feedback from the crowd's energy feeds you, you feed it. And I think if a great actor is on stage and he's playing a wonderful role, then the audience is in the palm of his hands. He's in complete control. It must be extraordinary. I don't know what it feels like.
An actor is in the director and the editor's control quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you play your part, and it's very, very repetitive because you've got to shoot a lot of things to cover what you need to cover. And then you're at the mercy of a director or an editor. But usually they're quite generous.
And you never set out to be an actor at all, did you?
No, I kind of fell into it, you know. But, you know, as soon as I started working and started making money doing it, I thought, well, why not?
Yeah. But someone had to discover you along the way. Who discovered you? What were the circumstances? I was hanging out in Cork, as 15-year-olds do, and I used to hang out in a pool hall arcade, you know, and they were casting for a film that Warner Brothers was making called The War of the Buttons. Yeah.
And so I went down to Skibbereen and I auditioned for a few days, and I didn't get the part, but I made contacts. And then there was, you know, the trips up and down from Cork to Dublin doing auditions, you know. For every one film you get, there's hundreds who don't, you know.
Yeah, but no training, no formal training.
No. I learned on the job, which can be very, very difficult because you can make your mistakes, your film mistakes, you make them within the process. So you're learning from successful people. Yeah. And it helps, but it's also more difficult. You are really Daniel in the lion's den.
Yeah. You are a bad example to all the kids who are, you know, being told by their parents, do your leaving cert, go on and get a college degree.
I am a terrible example.
No, but you have massive success, you know, while abandoning, if you like, the conventional route.
Yeah, I mean, I think the conventional route is very, very important. If somebody's a good student, stay in school.
You weren't?
No, I don't think I was particularly that interested, but it was just not what life had planned for me. I think, you know, I got my opportunities, and I took my opportunities in the way that I thought was best for me. That's not necessarily best for everybody. There's some very, very clever students in the country, and as we've seen from the Leaving Cert results, they're getting cleverer. So, you know, we can ship our people out into the world, and, you know, Irish intellectual property is hugely valuable. We've always had hugely valuable students, and they've made us proud around the world, so I think they should stay in school.
Now, initially in your acting career on screen, you kind of played the callow youth in quite a lot of movies.
Yeah, I did.
You made a deliberate decision that you wanted to change your physique.
Yeah, I think you have to at a certain point, you know, because the parts for young men in their late teens and 20s, they're not great. Because you have to have a certain amount of life experience to be able to portray life's experience. So as I got older, you know, I just started to change, and my desires started to change. You know, wasn't just about working, it was about doing good work and working with good people. And so, you know, you have to physically change as well as mentally change.
Now, in the Tudors, Henry VIII, my vision of him from the Hans Holbein picture is a fat, greedy-looking chap with kind of reddish hair.
That's it.
Ugly, kind of. You're not that, and you are not even going to become that as the series winds to a close.
No, I mean, listen, this is what we wanted from the Tudors was something completely different because we're interpretive artists.
Yeah.
History is history, and it is what it is. It's already been done. The Henry story. I think, you know, the most perfect Henry I've ever seen on screen was probably Robert Shaw. It was pretty close to what he looked like. That's not what our desire was. You know, we didn't really want to be historically accurate because we wanted to make what was essentially an hour's entertainment per week. We wanted to sort of, you know, to give our own interpretation of it because, you know, Henry was painted by Hans Holbein when he was in his early 40s. And I think the reason that portrait remains more than any other is because it's great art. But that's not necessarily what Henry looked like his whole life, and I'm sure he'd have turned in his grave when he found out that Hans Holbein had put his picture all over the world, and it wasn't a great shot.
In terms of your acting career, I suspect nowadays you don't get too many disappointments. You know, there are roles which are offered to you because everyone knows about you. There's no question of auditioning anymore, is there?
Well, you fight for the good stuff. For the really good script.
How do you go out there?
Well, that's partially the job of your agent. It's also the job of yourself. Your work begets your work. So if you keep concentrating and you keep working hard, then you'll get places. But, you know, it's difficult. And the further up you climb, the more successful you climb, the thinner the air gets. It's more valuable, more precious. And the parts are more wonderful, and the directors are more artistically clever. The scripts are much deeper, the parts you're playing are much deeper, and the money you're dealing with gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and with bigger money becomes bigger pressure.
Now, you've got a Golden Globe. Do you covet an Oscar?
I think any actor who says they don't covet an Oscar would be fibbing, I think. You know, I'd like to be able to sit there and go, oh, well, actually, you know, I don't mind about an Oscar.
These awards, who cares?
It's all the art. But no, of course I'd like an Oscar, because it's not only sort of like getting an award where you stand on television and everybody in the world can see you get it. It's from your peers.
All right.
The Academy are all people.
The cinematographers and
the cinematographers, the directors, the producers, the writers. These are your peers. And I think that's what's most important. I don't think winning an Oscar is as important as being nominated. Being nominated means that you're in a group of individuals who've excelled. And it gives you pride in yourself, and it gives you more confidence to go on and excel more and try harder.
I have watched you change so much over the few years that we have known each other. You are now absolutely confident. You are sure of your own talent in a way that you were not at the beginning.
No, I think, you know, I've had successes and I've had disappointments. I've learned as much from the disappointments as I have from the successes, sometimes even more. But I think as you get older, you change as a human being anyway, and I think, you know, getting to 30 and now 31, I'm really starting to become very, very comfortable with who I am.
You've worked with some great directors.
I have.
Was Woody Allen your least favourite or your favourite? He's generally a man of extreme passions in people, isn't he?
He is. You know, I think Woody is quite one of the most extraordinary artists of the 20th century, certainly. He's an extraordinary man too, because he's not necessarily a caricature of himself, but he is so extraordinary from everybody else in the room, so quiet, so shy, but his energy is palpable. You can feel it. Once Woody's in the room, everybody knows he's there. I liked him very, very much as a director. He was a gentleman,
You do a passable Woody Allen.
Yeah, I've done it too much. He actually gave out to me the last time I saw him. Yeah. You can't be doing me, Johnny. I said, of course I can. I've earned the right.
Yeah. I know you've sung a lot of movies. I'm not going to ask you to sing, don't
Thanks
worry,
very much.
because you have not prepared anything.
You should be thanking him very much as well.
But this would be a wonderful place.
It would be beautiful. And what about Canton Jenkins?
Wonderful.
Quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Absolutely. Jonathan, thank you very much.
You're very, very kind, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rhys Meyers. Lots of movies from him coming up in the next